On June 19, 2005, the priest of a 6th century temple in Padua reached for the main door, finding the heavy metal lock completely shattered. All 13 of the temple's deities were gone. Despite the immediate arrival of sniffer dogs and fingerprint experts, the investigation yielded no leads. The trail was completely cold. 6 months later, the thieves struck again near the Coromandel coast. Late at night in January 2006, 2 men broke into the Sri Brihadishwarar temple in Sri Peranthan, closed to regular worship for a decade. They targeted 8 bronze idols from the Chola dynasty, masterpieces like this nataraja. The men stole 3 pieces, carefully replaced the broken lock to mask the theft, and were paid just 3 lakh rupees by their boss. These rural temples were perfect targets. Their physical isolation and the lack of daily activity meant massive cultural thefts could remain entirely undetected by the outside world for months or even years. To combat the looting, a special enforcement unit called the Idol Wing attempted a new strategy. They began quietly relocating idols from small village temples to larger, high-security central temples. This relocation was done without any ceremony, photographs, or official paper inventory. The plan backfired immediately. Within days of the transfer, thieves broke into the secure central temple and wiped it clean. Believing the original village temple was still at risk, officials ordered heavy grille doors installed there as well. But when they arrived to install them, they discovered the thieves had already been there too. Every idol was gone. Because the idol wing had taken no photographs or records during the transfer, these stolen artifacts effectively ceased to exist in the eyes of the law, leaving investigators at a dead end. One man refused to abandon the cases, DSP Selvaraj. He worked in the idol wing, a posting often used to exile out-of-favor officers, leading a team that had dwindled to just 9 people. Selvaraj began tapping the phones of local suspects, eventually identifying 2 men moving heavy cargo to Chennai for a Kerala-based art dealer named Sanjeevi Asokan. During a stakeout, a leak tipped off the smugglers. Sanjeevi's silver Qualis executed a sharp U-turn and vanished into traffic. Selvaraj only managed to arrest the 2 petty thieves left behind. In March 2009, Intercept suggested Sanjeevi was preparing to flee the country. That night, Selvaraj raided Sanjeevi's hotel in Cochin, sealing the exits and storming the 11th floor. Sanjeevi's computers were wiped and his files were empty. However, under intense interrogation, the dealer eventually named the syndicate's ultimate mastermind, Subhash Kapoor. Capturing Sanjeevi proved that these robberies were part of a highly insulated international smuggling supply chain, rather than a series of disconnected local thefts. Subhash Kapoor built his credibility by gifting artifacts to major institutions like the Metropolitan Museum of Art. This strategic philanthropy ensured his name was inscribed on museum plaques, granting him elite status in the art world. He opened his Madison Avenue gallery, Art of the Past, where he brokered massive deals for stolen Chola bronzes, often masking their origin with fabricated histories for global buyers. While Kapoor operated in New York high society, a group of digital volunteers called the India Pride Project began tracking idols vanishing from rural temples and appearing in Manhattan galleries. This shows a museum inscription the volunteers flagged. The true origin was the village of Sutamali, but by shifting one letter to Suthavali, Kapoor kept the theft off government records for years, erasing its identity. Kapoor's most effective weapon was the strategic falsification of history, allowing him to give stolen goods legitimate identities that stood up to museum scrutiny. In 2009, an officer known as Indy joined Homeland Security investigations in New York, tasked with halting the flow of looted cultural treasures. Indy discovered a shipping container from Mumbai declared as marble garden furniture. When agents opened it, they found $20 million in stolen treasures, statues and artifacts over 2,000 years old, destined for Kapoor. Kapoor was tipped off by a contact inside the Indian embassy and abandoned the shipment, causing the federal investigation to stall. Indy pivoted, tracking a shell company called Nimbus Imports. This led to a California informant who recorded Kapoor admitting to running a factory for forged provenance and fraudulent certificates. Despite millions in seized goods, federal agents couldn't penetrate Kapoor's shield of forged authenticity without an inside source to expose the fabrication process. The syndicate's collapse began with Grace Paramaspree, Kapoor's girlfriend of 10 years, who sought revenge after losing a bitter legal dispute against him. She began posting on the Brooklyn Museum's blog, stating publicly that their Chola Shiva idols were stolen and their paperwork was forged. Grace provided the idol wing and Homeland Security with Kapoor's photographs and his travel itinerary, revealing he was heading to an art fair in Germany in October 2011. On October 30, 2011, Subhash Kapoor arrived at the immigration counter at Frankfurt International Airport. Instead of receiving a visa stamp, he was arrested by Interpol. The international syndicate fell not because of a flaw in the smuggling route, but due to the unpredictable hubris of a scorned partner. Extradited to Chennai in 2012, Kapoor confessed to the Tamil Nadu thefts and explained how he routed shipments through Hong Kong and London to wash the artifacts' identities. This confession sparked a battle for repatriation. Major institutions like the National Gallery of Australia initially defended their acquisitions, claiming their due diligence was world-class. This comparison shows how the Indian team proved their case. They matched 1974 photographs of idols in their original temples to the pieces held in foreign galleries, invoking the Antiquities Act of 1972 to demand their return. On September 4, 2014, Australia's Prime Minister personally returned the stolen idols to Prime Minister Modi, allowing the Nataraja to finally return to its village in Tamil Nadu. While Operation Hidden Idol recovered over $100 million in stolen history, thousands of idols still sit in foreign galleries, waiting to be brought home.